are now listening to the Rapport Podcast Network.
Sooner Nation, we did it. We pulled off yet another win. We got our 6th win. We are on to a bowl game, and we did it in a fashion that we just can't skip over. We are going to talk about Oklahoma taking down and rolling over the Tide 24-3. It is an amazing time to be a Sooner fan, and we're very excited about it. Make sure to jump in with us live here on the Sooner Spotlight. What is up, Sooner Nation? It is a happy Sunday, happy post-game reaction show because we did the unthinkable. We did something that we really didn't have a whole lot of hopes in doing. And apologies, I know I haven't been on here for a while, so apologies for that. I had some things kind of going on in my personal life that took away a lot more time and probably more important to focus on at the time, and so we just weren't able to hop on, and apologies for that. I know that kind of hurts the viewership some, but ultimately we're back on, we're back doing this thing. We're back live here on a Sunday afternoon. We did it a little bit later today because, again, some of those things kind of taking priorities, but just overall still didn't miss a beat last night, didn't miss a single second of this game. And I wanted to do the pregame show. I really wanted to, because now all I can tell you is what I felt without having any kind of video proof beforehand, because I got roasted all over social media when, I came out and I just said, I don't know why Oklahoma wouldn't be able to win this game, because we're better than Vanderbilt. And so this is just one of those games, man. Like it feels good because of the way we did it, when we did it, how we did it, everything that went around this season. This felt like, just a huge relief for Sooner fans. It felt like a huge relief for the players, for the coaches, just to finally be able to come out and pull this one off the way that we did it. We'll get into that here in just a second. Make sure to hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. We are live, so I've got a screen directly to my right that shows me when you guys comment. So jump in that live chat. I want to see that thing flooding today, Sooner fans, because guess what? We've got a whole lot of, I told you so. We've got a whole lot of, hey, what have we been saying all season long? We've got excitement today, guys. So hit that like button first and foremost. We want to get this channel booming, all right? No pun intended. We want this channel just exploding, and we want to get going with this, because we got basketball season upon us. We need to talk about men's and women's basketball because, guys, Oklahoma fans, we have a program right now in the SEC, just overall as an Oklahoma athletic program that is, we need to support these guys. And this game last night is why. Let's get into it. First, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, jump in the live chat. Like I said, I want to see that over to my screen to the right and be able to see you guys jumping in the live chat, because this is an exciting time to be an Oklahoma fan right now, and we'll get to why. It seems pathetic. And you know what? If I was on the outside looking in as an Oklahoma fan, where we've been in that situation before, where it's like we expect 10 wins, so why are these fans cheering about a 6th win? We are going to get to why it means so much to us here in just a second. So hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, jump in the live chat. Follow me on X, formerly known as Twitter. I was going crazy yesterday just because I was cheering on IU really hard. And to be honest, they were like 2 plays away from being in that game. And that's the honest truth. And so I was cheering for Indiana, was going obnoxious on social media. So go jump over to X, formerly known as Twitter. Follow me on there if you want to see more updates about the show, about Oklahoma Sooners, and so much more over there. You can follow everything we do at Soonerspotlight.com. Go check that website out, guys, because that's where we post everything we do. We've got articles. We haven't been doing very many lately. We will have articles posted more often because, like I said, I had some personal things that kept me away from doing the podcast that I just needed to tend to and focus in on. And I'm glad that I did, because all of that stuff is over with now, and we are diving in really hard to this. So jump in the live chat, guys. Let's get to this. Let's get to the game last night, guys, because Oklahoma rolls the Tide 24-3. Now, if I told you prior to this season that we could beat Alabama 24-3, you would have told me, yeah, let's do it. And you know what? I don't even have those notes pulled up, but let me jump back to my notes preseason, because we were talking preseason about Oklahoma and about our expectations. I laid out my expectations. I did my game, what I expected from preseason, how we would have performed in all of this. I had OU winning actually 24-21. And that was only because I just felt like Kalen DeBoer would have a high-powered offense, and I said, you know what, I could see the Tide scoring 21, but I think we scored 24 on them. Didn't think it was going to be the fashion that we scored 24 on them last night, but I feel like we should be able to outscore this Tide team. This is a good team, and I knew this going into the season. Kalen DeBoer is a very good head coach. Now, he has not had a good season. He has not lived up to the hype in some of these games. He should not have lost to Oklahoma last night. He should not have lost to Vanderbilt early on in the season. Losing to Tennessee is understandable, but this is a very good Alabama team, and I knew that from prior to this game. I knew that early preseason that this was going to be a good team. So, Alabama, I know they had 2 losses, but they were definitely one of those teams that, yeah, they had a down game against Vanderbilt, but you watched how they just rolled over their competition, blowing out Missouri. They just went on and destroyed LSU at home in a night game. And so, yeah, they're probably going to roll into Norman. And, if I would have been able to get everything together to be able to do a live show yesterday, pregame, I would have told you, there's some hope. I have some hope because all season long we've been talking about, we know the roster that we have. We know the talent that we have, even without the wide receivers. It just feels like the entire roster is not being utilized the way that it ought to be. And that was a big gripe from us as Sooner fans is, hey, why are we not using this, all of this the way that we should be? Why are we not using tight ends the way tight ends are supposed to be used? Why are we not using a run game? Why are we not handing the ball off? Why are we not, if we do have wide receivers out, why don't we use Jackson Arnold a little bit more in the run game? Guess what, guys? They heard us. They heard our complaints, and they said, hey, you know what? We're going to switch this up because these Oklahoma fans are better couch coaches than we are actual football coaches, so we're going to listen to them. No, that's not what happened. I just think it finally boiled down to the point that, hey, we really can't be throwing the ball 20-some times a game because this offensive line just ain't built to pass protect right now. They're banged up. We've been without 4 or 5 offensive linemen, for sure 4 that I can think of off the top of my head, 4 offensive linemen in and out all season long. We were down our top 5 wide receivers, now down our top 6, and apologies, I didn't even look in to see how Brennan Thompson's doing. So I know last I heard it was speculation, hoping that it was just a minor ankle injury. So hopefully that's the case and he's back in because I love that dude. I know what he's capable of, and we saw a little bit of it last night. There was the drop where it was thrown a little bit too far behind him. Personally, I put that on Jackson Arnold. I think he was trying too hard to predict what was happening with a safety, that it was just not there. But I see Brennan Thompson as being like, that should have been our main receiver all season long, and he just wasn't able to get the ball. We didn't draw up plays to get him the ball. All season long, we griped about this, but you know what? If you're down your top 5 wide receivers, and now with Brennan Thompson going out, your top 6 wide receivers, guess what you got to do? And guess what we've been saying you got to do all season long? You got to run the damn ball. You got to run the ball, and that's what we have been calling for. Why do we not have a running back getting 20-plus carries a game? And guess what? We basically got that yesterday. I mean, we used Jackson Arnold as a running back, and you know what? That's something that I've been saying we need to work that into the game. I didn't expect them to just utilize him as like a sole running back, but guess what? It tricked the defense so much. And then we had Xavier Robinson in there with 18 carries. He ended up going for 107 yards. He had 128 total yards from scrimmage between rushing and receiving. So, I mean, he ended up having 2 touchdowns on the day, 2 rushing touchdowns, averaged close to 6 yards per carry. And then, because we had Xavier Robinson in there, Alabama was zoned in on him, and they were trying to get to him. There were several times where that edge would come down and cut down and take out Xavier Robinson. I think I counted at least 4 or 5 times when I rewatched. that they did that. The edge, the defensive end was coming down to try to stop the running back, stop Xavier Robinson, and Jackson Arnold is smart enough and quick enough to pull the ball and take off running, and then ends up getting chunk yards. Jackson Arnold ran for 131 yards on 25 carries. That's just over 5 yards a carry, guys. So, I mean, it was a game plan that we have been begging this coaching staff to do the entire season with all of the injuries around us. Why are we not going to the run? Why are we not trying something with the run game? And guess what? We ran for 260 yards yesterday. We had a 40-yard run breakout from Xavier Robinson. And you know what? Thank you, Xavier. And I love the whole throwing up the X too. X go and give it to you. They kept on playing that throughout the stadium last night. I loved it. And I feel ashamed of myself too. I had a buddy reach out. He said, "Hey, I got a ticket to the game. You want to come down to the game?" And I said, "Man, like the way this season's gone, I would love to be there because it's senior night, and I feel for these seniors. I just got so much going on. I really don't think I can make it." And a little part of me too, like that's what I'm ashamed of. A little part of me says, I just don't want to go watch us lose again. Like, I don't know. I'm just not feeling it. I'll watch it from home. And then my whole family was all busy yesterday, so I was watching that game by myself. And this morning, somehow I still have a voice because I'm sitting there screaming. And my dog was freaking out, kept on coming back out to the living room with me to watch the game. And then I'd scream again, and she'd run to the other room and check around the corner like, "Is everything okay, Dad?" But yeah, guys, this was absolutely an amazing win. Real quick, I see we got a few comments. Mars Jams 2 says, "Boomer, Sooner," right back at you. And Jimmy Satterfield jumps in there with a big old Sooner. William says, "What a win." Yeah, man. And our local Tennessee resident too. William, you know how special that can be. You know how special that can be. I mean, Tennessee isn't that far gone from, man, like when are we going to get back? When are we going to feel good again? And you guys went through it a lot longer than we did. So, yeah, absolutely. It felt amazing to win. But here's why. So let me jump ahead. Storming the field. I have always stood on the fact that unless you're a small school like Vanderbilt storming the field, that makes sense. Even Tennessee storming the field after beating Alabama, that was like, juggernaut Alabama back in the day, and it's a rivalry, and you lose to Alabama all the time. And then, Josh Heupel brings this Tennessee team to making them feel like they can win a national championship again. So I even understood that kind of thing. I can think of like Kansas, I think it was, storming the field when they beat Texas a few years back that's Kansas. I understand for small teams. There's several cases where storming the field is awesome. I love it. But when you storm the field, I even thought this with Nebraska, because my family's Nebraska fans. I said, man, Nebraska stormed the field after beating 5-5 Wisconsin. I don't know how I feel about that, but they worked so hard, and they've been waiting so long for a 6-win season just to get back to the bowl eligibility, because I think it was since 2016, 2015 since they've been to a bowl game. And even back then, if memory serves me correctly, for Nebraska, that was even a 5-win season that they just got allowed into a bowl game. And so, a lot of Nebraska fans were like, we don't want that. Why would we take that? We didn't earn that. And so, that was back in Mike Riley days, I believe. And yeah, Nebraska storming the field made sense to me because they waited so long. For Oklahoma, though, we're not that far off. We're better than that. And so I kept on thinking, like, don't storm the field. And I saw a lot of Oklahoma fans saying, don't storm the field. Excuse me. And why are we storming the field? They hate that we storm the field. Other teams are making fun of us. They don't get it. Really, Oklahoma, you're not used to winning. No, this had so much more to do than that because, for one, it's senior day. That's probably the biggest reason. It's senior day, man. And on top of it being senior day, we won. But we won like this. We shut Alabama out of the end zone. And I'll get to that penalty that technically they should have had a touchdown. No, technically they shouldn't have. I'll get to that here in just a second. But, Alabama is a top 10 team. And I see we got the slideshow over here too. And there'll even be highlights and stuff. So you guys just enjoy it. But, we had senior day, and these seniors, specifically on defense, stood up when it mattered the most. And there are a ton of guys that got involved. Let me name off some guys that got involved that don't usually get a whole lot of involvement. Reggie Powers got involved. I'm not saying they got involved a lot. I'm just saying they got involved. David Stone got involved. Ben Anderson got involved. Woody Washington 100% got involved. Let's see. Trace Ford, we heard his name popping up, and we saw his number right on top of Jalen Milrose several times. Let's see. We had Amika Megwa got involved. Kenai Walker got involved in special moments. And that's a dude that has not been doing his job in many scenarios. But when we put him in the right scenarios, he does his job. And he did that yesterday. The game plan was just thought out to perfection, specifically on the defense. They had a few broken plays. And as you can see on the highlights over there, that they had some broken plays. I get that. But you know what? They did something. Kobe McKenzie got involved. Dejon Terry got big time involved. Ethan Downs all over the place. Peyton Bowen. You know who really got involved yesterday and who I am probably most proud of out of anyone on this entire roster. Now, and it's saying a lot because I'm proud of a ton of guys. First off, I want to throw out a shout out to Des Malone. He had a very good game, and he has not had a very good season. He's been one of those guys, again, that I called out. I've called out on here. I think fans have called him out for not doing his job properly, but he did his job to perfection yesterday. He was on top of it. 5 solo tackles from Des Malone. When it was an open space, he did not let a guy past him. Loved what I saw from him. But the guy that I'm most proud of on the entire roster, and that's saying a lot because I'm telling you guys, like, I know you guys feel me when I say, like, I am so proud of so many guys on this roster, but how about the freshman, Eli Bowen, stepping up? Because I know he let up a couple of chunk plays. There was one where he thought he got Williams out of bounds, and then he wasn't. He ended up scoring a touchdown, Ryan Williams, and then it ended up coming back because he did get him out of bounds, and he kind of gave up there. That's one criticism I got for him, but he did get him out of bounds. Got to give him there. But you know what? This kid literally went against one of, like, I would say top 3 wide receiver. Eli Bowen went against a top 3 wide receiver in all of college football right now. And I know he's a true freshman, but that kid has heart. Ryan Williams, I feel bad that, you didn't get the game that you wanted to. That's me lying to you. I'm going to lie to you and say, I feel bad for you, man. No, I don't feel bad one bit. Ryan Williams was shut down to only 2 receptions. Now, they were big receptions, but Eli Bowen was there, and he even had a 3rd reception, and I'll get to that one in just a second. He had a 3rd reception that would have given them, a touchdown if everything would have stood. And this dude is a freak. Ryan Williams, you are an amazing athlete, and Alabama's lucky to have him, I'll tell you what. But Eli Bowen locked him up. Eli Bowen he was phenomenal. Then he jumps the route. That replay just showed over there on the clips. And shout out to Oklahoma football social media. They're the ones that got that all put together, so that's all on them. But you know what? Eli Bowen was all over the field, and he jumps the route when it's a screen pass, somehow gets past the 2 blockers out in front, and he was outmanned, and he gets the interception. Just Eli Bowen, the true freshman, man. He stepped up big time in big time moments in a big time game, in a game where we needed it the most. Just I'm incredibly proud of that kid and what he was able to do yesterday. Just absolutely crazy. But Eli Bowen, I think that's my player of the game, even though I really want to give a huge shout out to several others. Jackson Arnold, the adversity that he went through all season long. You got to be proud of him. Xavier Robinson showing up and cementing his legacy. He's a Oklahoma running back. He is the future. That kid, and we knew it the second we saw him step on the field. Taylor Tatum, man, I feel bad for him because we know that he's talented. We know that he can do it, but his overall carries to turnover ratio is just, it's bad. So, as long as Taylor Tatum can work on this offseason, just figuring out what it is that he's doing wrong to let that ball slip out of his hands so often, because every time he runs the ball, I cringe. I get a little nervous that we're going to drop it. So, you know what? And one more thing before I get to that Kyron Williams touchdown, one more player. We harp on Bauer Sharp a lot, but that dude has heart. He dropped a wide open touchdown, and the reason why I was so ticked off about it was because I thought that touchdown was, hey, that could be the game for us, because we just screwed up and missed a wide open touchdown and then miss a field goal right after it. I'm ticked off with Bauer Sharp, and then he misses some blocks here and there. I think we're too hard on him. Honestly, I think overall Sooner Nation is hard on him, because go back and watch this game and just watch where Bauer Sharp is all the time. He was a big reason why Jackson Arnold got free on a few of his runs. He picks up blocks. People act like he just doesn't block at all. He does miss some stuff. He misses stuff a lot. I get that. But he does play with a lot of heart, and he's on the field doing everything he can, trying to pick up slack for players around him too. Just realize that. He's not really meant to block. He drops passes a couple of times here and there when he shouldn't. I get that. And you've got to criticize him for when he's wrong and when he does bad. And he's not always perfect. I'm not saying that. I just want to say we got to give him a little bit of slack here, because this dude has played his heart out. Go back and watch play by play. Just watch where Bauer Sharp is. Watch what he's doing. Now going to the Kyron Williams. Going to the Ryan Williams. Ryan Williams touchdown. Phenomenal catch. Phenomenal acrobatic move to get your toe down. But here's why that was never a touchdown to begin with. It was the wrong call. Wrong call on the field. They called illegal touching. I tried to understand why they called illegal touching. There is no rhyme or reason why it was illegal touching. And them calling it illegal touching was a loss of downs. Now it's a turnover rather than a penalty that would have backed him up and then replay fourth down. That's where it sucks. But the touchdown would not have stood. It was illegal formation. It was illegal formation from the start. Go back and look. You've got to have a wide receiver on either side of the line, an eligible receiver on either side of the line. There was no eligible receiver on the top side of the line, if you're looking at that. And I meant to have a picture to show that. But go back and look at that formation. There was 3 wide receivers down low. There was a tight end down low. There was a running back down low all on the right side of the field. There was no receiver, eligible receiver. Nobody checked in over there. There wasn't a tackle that checked in, because the tight end still ran a route too over here. So you either had too many receivers checked in, or it was just an illegal formation. So regardless, the touchdown doesn't stand. It comes back, 5-yard penalty. They probably go for it on fourth down. We can speculate from there, but guess what? At that point in the game, you're under 10 minutes in the game coming up on it, and so that pretty much takes that touchdown away. So I wanted to explain that, because I agree the call was wrong, and it did change the outcome of that drive and what it could have been. But a lot of that is going to be speculation. We don't know exactly what would have been if they would have called it correctly. It should have been illegal formation. 5-yard penalty, if memory serves me correctly. 5-yard penalty, and you replay fourth down, but now you're in fourth and however long that was. I think fourth, probably would have been about 4th and 10. It would have been 4th and long for sure. So just throwing that out there, because it was the wrong call, and it did screw up the drive and what it could have been, but it wasn't that there just wasn't a penalty on the field at all and that the touchdown stands. That's all I wanted to say. Going over to the chat real quick. Sooner Cowboys says, OU offense didn't completely beat itself last night. They tried a couple of times, found a way to beat a not-so-great Bama. They are a great football team, so OU was able to at least beat a good team. I would say, yeah, maybe not a not-so-great Alabama in the sense that they're not as good as Nick Saban's Alabama. But yeah, like you said, it's still a really good team. And they did. I believe 100% Alabama was a top 10 team. I mean, they were definitely deserving of that ranking, in my opinion, because they are a good team. You've watched them the last 2 weeks. They earned that. They said, I know we lost to Vanderbilt, and I know we haven't played great all season long. We kind of let up against Georgia, and then we're able to come back to win that game. That was a good win. We lost to Tennessee in a tough battle. But, Vandy was unexcusable, and they know that, and they fought back. They beat LSU on the road, and then they just completely dominated Mizzou, and I can't remember if that was on the road or not. I can check real quick. No, Missouri was at home, but still, they whooped Missouri 34 to zip after losing by a touchdown to Tennessee, which, again, is a reasonable loss, and then you whoop up you whoop up Missouri 34-0. and then go on the road and whoop LSU 42-13 in Death Valley, the real Death Valley, then whoop up on Mercer, take a week. Let's see, there was a week between somewhere in there, I know. But anyways, you come to Norman, and here's the thing. Alabama gave us some dropped passes that should have been caught. I will give you that. But Alabama didn't have any answers for this defense. This defense is what won that game. Let's see here. Sooner Cowboys also says it was a good win and probably BV's biggest win since coming back to OU. I would say the Texas win might have been bigger, just because that was a one-loss Texas team, that their one loss was to us. I would say Texas last year was a bigger win, and it put us in the driver's seat, and we didn't capitalize through the rest of the season. But I do agree with you as far as this season. I mean, yeah, that's our biggest win. We beat Alabama and Auburn. Those are the two teams that we beat. We came close to Missouri. We should have beat South Carolina. That's the frustrating thing about this season. As you go back throughout the season, we lost to Tennessee. I'm okay with that. It sucks, but I'm okay with that. We should have handled business a little better against Auburn, but we should never have had Michael Hawkins playing as a starting quarterback. We should have used him in that game, but not as a starting quarterback. He shouldn't have been the one throwing the ball, and we shouldn't have been running RPO, all this Seth Luttrell stuff that we threw into this playbook. Everyone wants to say that the play scheme was built around Jackson Arnold and his strengths this year. I don't think that's the case. I don't think he's meant to be doing RPOs at this level, and that should have been caught after week 1, week 2, week 3, when we were going against those easy opponents. Like, hey, this just ain't working with Jackson Arnold. And then whenever you're out your top wide receivers, your top 5 wide receivers, it's not like you're out like 1 or 2 guys. You were out 5 wide receivers. You kept on running these plays, trying to get receivers into position where, they're not ready for this right now. They're young. And then you don't get Jacob Jordan on the field. Somehow Xavier Robinson was hiding from us all season long, and we didn't even know he was a part of the team. He was part of the scout team and worked his way up. So there was so many things into the season. I was talking a little bit about why the storming the field and why this feels so awesome, because we beat a team, a top 10 team under Brent Venables. That was awesome. And the fact that we beat a top 10 team in Alabama, they should have. We were 14-point underdogs. We were out 6 wide receivers after Brennan Thompson went down. And so we were out 6 wide receivers, 4 offensive linemen, just all these injuries all over on our injury report. So we, like Brent Venables said in the post game, it was like we came into this with one hand tied behind our back with all these injuries. And so we were able to do that on senior night. And then on top of that, the news with Julie Venables, Brent Venables' wife, with her cancer coming back, and the surgery, prayers out to that whole family. And for a fact that was part of why this stadium, the fans were loud, probably the loudest it has been all season, if not this decade. The fans were loud, and the fans showed up because of senior night and because of Julie Venables. So you know what? There is so much to be happy about this win and about when it came. The timing of this win to get us to bowl eligibility so that we don't lose that streak of catching bowl eligibility, reaching bowl eligibility. It does. It means a lot. The bowl eligibility doesn't mean anything to us as Oklahoma fans, right? But it's just the fact that we didn't miss out on it, the fact that this season sucked for so many reasons, and all these guys came together. Jackson Arnold, huge, big-time game from him. And you know what? He went 9 of 11. He did what he had to do passing the ball, and he ran the ball phenomenally tonight. Absolutely awesome. William Stagg says, I'd like to know if this game was our biggest time of possession on offense for an SEC game. I think we had a 3 and out, but I can't remember. Even when they pinned us at the 1 yard line. Yeah, and when we were at the 1 yard line, he also goes on, wow, my computer's kind of screwing up on me. Apologies. He even went on and says Tatum just needs to not be a freshman and hit the weight room. He's not physical enough yet. I don't know about that. I don't know about physicality. I think he's got physicality down. I do agree with hitting the weight room, stack on some good weight. but it's just fumbling the ball. Don't be fumbling the ball so often. But as far as time of possession, yeah, that was awesome. And when we were backed up against the 1 yard line, we still got out of there, and we were able to turn that into something. And then it seemed like a broken play on third down, kind of is what happened to stall that drive. But I don't know if we did have a 3 and out. I can go through this real quick. Let's see. We did have the 3 and out on the first drive, so that was a 3 and out. It looks like we technically had a 3 and out with that Taylor Tatum fumble. Not really, not a 3 and out. 3 and outs were not a thing from the Oklahoma Sooners outside of that first drive. That's a game plan. That's the game plan that we've been asking. Please, just run the ball. Find a way to run the ball 80 times, and guess what? They basically did that. That's an over-exaggeration, but they basically did that. We passed the ball 11 times. I think we had 13 pass plays drawn up, if memory serves me correctly. Designed pass plays. If memory serves me correctly, I think I counted 13 of those. And Jackson Arnold took off running really well on one of them, just found the broken, hey, I can beat this guy on the edge, and got some yardage. But yeah, just great offensive game plan, and you don't have your top 6 wide receivers. Guess what? You have got to figure out a way to do it without them. And that's what they did. That's what Joe John and Kevin Johns did. So, that's what we needed. CC says the ref on the lower side of the field instead of the top side of the ref, which caused some of the confusion. The ref on the lower side of the field threw the flag instead of the top side ref, which played a part in the confusion of the penalty. They could have explained it better too. Yeah, they could have explained it better. The commentators were confused. And like I said, I think that was supposed to be illegal formation. I don't know where the illegal touching was. I know for a fact it was illegal formation. It was 100%. It was illegal formation. Go back and look at it. There's no eligible receiver at the top of the field. And guess what? Those who are saying the tackle was an eligible receiver up there. If he's an eligible receiver, he has to report that to the ref, and the ref has to make that known. There was no eligible receiver at the top of the field, and they had all that shifting that confused that, and that's why they didn't have an eligible receiver at the top of the field. I think the running back was probably supposed to go over there, something, and I don't even know if the running back being over there would have counted. But it was 100% illegal formation, which would have been a 5-yard penalty, replay 4th down. So yeah, that's what it was. And so I don't know about illegal touching. I'm questioning if, because of the illegal formation and it was a pass play, maybe that's how you get the illegal touching. But as from what I know about illegal touching, I don't think that was illegal touching. He was up on the line like he should have been. He wasn't covered up like they said. I don't know. That didn't make any sense to me. So that's my explanation of it. I personally think the refs got it wrong. I think it should have been an illegal formation. And you're right. I think because the wrong ref threw the flag, and it did come out late, I think because the ref saw it, but it wasn't supposed to be him that threw it, and he realized it wasn't being thrown, so he threw the flag anyways. I think that's why it was so late. And maybe the communication got lost to the official, and that's why it got called illegal touching. Maybe that's the case. I'll give them a break there. They need to answer for it, though. I hate officiating, not being consistent and not getting calls right in big-time moments. That was one of them. It doesn't change the outcome of the game. We still shut you out. So one touchdown even doesn't do that for you. Maybe it sparks up some momentum. Maybe, but it wasn't a touchdown. So you're replaying 4th down, and the way you guys played last night, I don't have a whole lot of faith that you get a touchdown again. So I don't know. And CC, I guess I'm not talking to you as if you're a Bama fan, but just throwing that out there. But I do agree with you. I think because of the confusion, it was all misconstrued. That might have been why it was called illegal touching. It was illegal formation. That's what should have been called. That's kind of where I'll leave that. William says the ref that threw the flag was waiting to see if the receiver touched the ball, which means he was already thinking he was covered up, but he wasn't. Yeah, and again, confusion there. CC says, yes, I understand that if it was a run play, there is no penalty, but the ref on the side where there was no eligible receiver throwing the flag would have caused less confusion. Yeah, and I think you're right too. And I think if he throws the flag like he should have, I just think he didn't see it. I think that's as plain as it was. And I think the line judge on the other side was like, wait, is there no flag over there? We need to hurry up and get this out. I don't think he, like what Williams said, I don't think he was trying to see if the receiver touched it. And maybe that's the case. I don't know. That, like I said, this is why we need to hear from the refs. Why did you throw that penalty? Why was that called that way? And fess up to it. And if you're blatantly throwing wrong penalties, I think you should be fined. Williams says, no doubt he has a physical mindset, but in my opinion, Tatum is not strong enough yet to hold up and take those types of hits without fumbling. Yeah, and you know what? With Taylor Tatum, William, I don't think Taylor Tatum, like that hit that he took yesterday that popped that ball out like that should not have been a hit that you fumble on. I can totally understand, and I give grace to guys because I've had this happen to me a couple of times. I think most of the time I was lucky and caught it before it got into an opposing player's hands or, from what I can remember, I don't think I really turned the ball over often when I was a player because my coach was not very polite about that. When you drop the ball on the ground and you recovered your own or you got lucky, he's still going to have a word with you, but we're going to give a little bit of leniency because you covered it up or somebody else was there to cover it up for you. But anyways, I can give grace when guys get that tomahawk chock, like Jalen Milroe holding on to that whenever, I think it was R. Mason Thomas chasing behind him, I think in the fourth quarter, and even Kirk Herbstreit brought this up. He came up there with a malicious intent of knocking that ball on the turf, and somehow Jalen Milroe was able to hold on to that ball. That's one of those that blindsides you, and you're just holding it normal. You might be holding it tight, and trying to secure it. It doesn't matter how tight it is. If that guy gets in there just right from behind, pops it loose. But for Taylor Tatum, he got hit in a way that, like, I rewatched that thinking maybe somebody's hand got in there. No, it was just a collision, popped it free. And it popped up in the air so awkwardly and forward. I mean, just terrible. You can't turn the ball over in those kind of games. I thought that was a turning point. I also thought that the Bauer Sharp missed touchdown, the dropped catch. They were trying to blame that on Brennan Thompson as a bad pass. No, that was right to Bauer Sharp, and he should have caught that. I'm sure Bauer Sharp would have told you himself. I didn't see if he maybe had a post-game interview or anything like that. Maybe he brought it up. Bauer Sharp is upset with himself for dropping that. I know for a fact. He had the rest of the Sooner Nation ticked off and ready to kick him out of. I was joking around saying I'm escorting him out of the state of Oklahoma. But anyways, yeah, I mean, I thought that fumble from Taylor Tatum and then the missed touchdown and field goal back-to-back, I thought for sure that was the turning point of the game. We're losing this game. It's game over. This is how it goes. The offense can't do anything right, and they blow big-time opportunities to score the ball, and the defense is going to get worn out. Second half, Bama's going to come back, but then we were leading by a touchdown. We were leading 10-3 at halftime, and I felt good about it. I felt really good at halftime. I'm like, I know that we've been known to blow these games, but this one just feels different. This defense feels hungrier than they ever felt. Jalen Milroe had, I think, -2 total rushing yards at halftime. And then Xavier Robinson was averaging like 11 yards per carry at the end of the first half. I felt so good about that game, and I was like very certain that we were winning that game. And then we come out, get an interception on the very first drive. Very next drive, Kip 6. Guess what? The Oklahoma Sooners are going to they won. The Oklahoma Sooners won the Alabama State Championship. We beat Alabama and Auburn in the same season. I don't think anybody else can say that. Vanderbilt didn't beat Auburn. Wait, or did they? Vanderbilt might have beat Auburn. Now that I'm thinking about it. I don't think that's the case, but let me see real quick. I think they might have beat Auburn. I'm going to pull this up because I don't want to be choking on my own words. They beat Alabama and they beat Auburn. Okay, so we got to play Vanderbilt for the Alabama State Championship. But we had a pick six from Kip Lewis. We had a Kip 6 against Alabama and Auburn. That feels awesome to say. This was the team that we wanted to see. This was the game plan that we wanted to see all season long. And if we ran this game plan with this beat-up roster all season long, guess what? This works. And I guarantee you right now, I would put money on it. We won 7 games up to this point. I think possibly 8 total wins on this season at the very least. Because, again, going back, I think if we ran this game plan all season long, then I think we would have played much better against Texas. I don't know if we win that game, but we would have beat South Carolina. We would have beat Ole Miss because we were winning Ole Miss. Let's remember that. We were winning Ole Miss, and we ended up killing ourselves with turnovers and stupid mistakes. We would have beat Missouri, and then we just now beat Alabama. So we're sitting there with 3 more wins. So I'm telling you, I think 9 wins this season then, because I think I truly 100% believe, I keep Texas out of it. I think South Carolina, Ole Miss, and Missouri should have been wins. There's no reason. South Carolina, if we didn't have Michael Hawkins starting that game, I think that was a different game, 100% different game. Those 3 back-to-back turnovers put us behind 21 points. And then what are you supposed to do? You got to air it out. And guess what? We're not built for that because we got 5 wide receivers out. You can't run the ball because, if we would have ran this game plan and utilized the players that we did in this game all season long, the way that I'm telling you, I know for a fact, you guys that are watching right now, Sooner Nation, you and I, we were on the same page all season long, and we kept on saying, this is what we need to do. We need to have running backs running the ball 20-plus times. We didn't have that, but we used Jackson Arnold as our running back, which I'm okay with, and that's another thing that I've been calling for. And I think some of you guys have said the same thing too. But let's see real quick. Anyways, I think we had an 8-win season at the very least, and I'm feeling like a 9-win season if we would have ran this offensive scheme. I really believe that. And then the defense felt the energy back from the offense. And hey, you guys are marching the ball. You guys got a turnover. That's okay. We'll put a stop to that. And guess what? Whenever they reviewed and brought back that Ryan Williams touchdown from him stepping out of bounds, the defense still stood tall and made Alabama second guess their 4th down attempt. And I'm going to tell you right now, I don't think they were going to make it on 4th down. I think this defense was too hungry, and they would have had a big old goose egg if they didn't kick that field goal. That's my opinion, and I might be wrong, but the way I was feeling right there, when they were going to go for it, I was like, you know what? No, this defense ain't going to let you in that easy. So you might want to kick that field goal and just take some kind of points. And sure enough, they kicked that field goal, got themselves 3 points. But I'm really feeling like this season, if we would have been smarter, and Seth Luttrell's to blame for it, a lot of it. Not just Seth Luttrell. I think there's others. Guess what? Here's another thing too. Spencer Brown. I'm really proud of him too. Spencer Brown has been atrocious. I've called him out on this podcast several times. Spencer Brown has been a liability, but that dude was laying dudes out. He was getting body on body, taking 2 guys at once. Go back and watch what Spencer Brown did last night. I said, God, please be with Spencer Brown. Let him do something tonight, something good, because he's not been good all season long. He's been a liability. He played his heart out last night. So thank you, Spencer Brown. You heard us. Love that kid. I love what he was able to do last night, man. Brent Venables even called him out in the press conference, I believe. So Spencer Brown had a really good night. But the offensive line, what was Bill Bedenbaugh doing on the offensive line all season long? Because I hadn't seen shifts the way that we were running shifts all season long. And it was ran to perfection on a lot of these counter plays. The read option just worked to perfection. I liked the triple option shuffle pass. It just didn't work against Alabama very well last night. It worked a couple of times to get chunk plays, or not chunk plays, but little chunks. That was a lot of fun to see, though. I loved it. Let's see. I'm going to scroll through here. Modern day caveman. We finally got our suffocating, punishing, relentless defense causing chaos in the backfield that we were promised by BV when he was hired. I think we've been causing that chaos in the backfield all season long. It's just we weren't able to do it all game long because the offense keeps on putting the defense out there and wears them down, personally. But I agree with you. We finally got it. I think we've seen glimmers of that all over. Let's see. William Staggs, again, he says, first half of Alabama and Ole Miss seems very similar. Difference was the offense possessed the ball in the second half yesterday and didn't against Ole Miss. Yeah, and they ran the ball effectively and efficiently. They did it to perfection. William, I know for a fact you and I have been calling that. My my ex social media buddy Spencer, him and I have been calling for it. Let's see here. Boom says, "Let's go, X." Yeah, I mean, X gonna give it to you. I tell you what, he was giving it to Alabama last night, and the most proud moment that I had was when I felt like the first moment. Of course, it left me whenever we fumbled the ball, and then it was also gone whenever we didn't score that touchdown to Bauer Sharp. But the first moment that I felt like, hey, I think we got a really good shot at pulling this off, because I think it was the very first play of the game, Danny Stutzman meets Jalen Milroe at the line and puts that guy on the ground. I felt an energy from that moment, from that defense, that, hey, this defense ain't giving up on the season. This defense ain't giving up on this team. This defense ain't giving up on Brent Venables. They're not giving up on the fans, and the fans aren't giving up on them. That stadium was rocking last night. I apologize to the Sooners that I didn't just take up the opportunity and go to the game, because I should have been there. Had a free opportunity to go too, but I'm bummed that I didn't. Now with hindsight's 2020. Jimmy Satterfield says they definitely dominated both lines of scrimmage. Yeah, we did. And you know what? We had some offensive linemen that were freshmen pushing around those NFL caliber defensive linemen, pushing them around, like manhandling them. Man, felt really good. And then even modern day caveman, he says thumbs up to Jimmy Satterfield's comment about that. Guys, we're happy, right? We're happy. But you know what? I'm not satisfied, because we can finish this thing off with a 7-win season. And I know that's less than what we expected. 7-win season was a bad season for us. I can understand how we get to that point. It was one of those things. I could understand if we would have lost to Ole Miss. I just don't understand how we lost the way that we did. I could understand how we would have lost to Texas. I just don't like how we lost to Texas. I could understand losing to Tennessee this past season, but I don't like how we lost to them. We gave them the ball 3 times in the first half and killed ourselves in so many ways. And again, big part of that, play calling. A huge part of that, play calling. So, I mean, you know what? Yeah, I mean, we've got a future though, guys. That's what this game means. Let's go to Death Valley and shock the nation one more time to let them know that we are the Oklahoma Sooners and we're still around. It'll feel good to at least have 3 wins when we were about to have 1. 3 wins in the conference, when we were about to end the season with just 1. Right now, I'm looking Oklahoma is plus 200, 6-point underdog. That's what it's opening up at against LSU. Let's go on the road. Let's go to Death Valley. Let's just end this thing. I don't care that we get a crappy bowl game so much, but I'm happy that we got there after everything we went through this season. And I'm sure you guys can agree with me. Let's see here real quick, just because I know Jimmy says have to go and get a win at LSU. Yeah, you're agreeing with me. And then William says agree, end this crappy season with an LSU and a bowl win. 100%. I agree with you guys. Sooner Nation, this season feels a lot better knowing that we just now that we're ending it the way that we are. Let's just close it out. We finally have that optimism back in our favor. Don't get complacent with the fact that, hey, we just beat Alabama, we can beat LSU and go in there and get your butt handed to you. Realize that it's still going to be a tough battle, and we can do it though. And, get some confidence back and walk in there to Death Valley and do this thing. If any of you guys are going to be at Death Valley, let me know. I think it's going to be a crazy good atmosphere. It's Thanksgiving weekend, so guys, enjoy your Thanksgiving. We will be back on here this week, several times this week, okay? Because we need to talk about OU men's basketball looking really good. OU women's basketball dominating right now. I don't know if you guys have seen that, but hey, yeah, let's do this thing, all right? Let's get back on here this week. Appreciate all you guys for tuning in. Hit that like button, all right? Hurry up. Before you leave, just hit that like button. It doesn't take any time at all, and it doesn't hurt you, but it helps me. Helps this channel keep on growing. Hit that like button. Go check out everything we do at Soonerspotlight.com. You can get some merch to help us out further. You can check out everything we got going on over there. Go subscribe on Apple Podcast and Spotify as well. Give us a 5-star review. Amazing ways to help us out over there. Appreciate all you guys so much for all the love, all the support. See you next time. Boomer.